Cape Media Center, building community through media.
Welcome to the Judah Baker Windmill, a treasured piece of Cape Cod history. Originally built in 1791 by Judah Baker, this 18th century windmill stands in South Yarmouth, a proud reminder of a time when wind powered communities. Back in the late 1600s, Yarmouth was home to 5 windmills used to grind grain. Today, the Judah Baker Windmill is the last one still standing. Over the years, the windmill was relocated several times before finding its permanent home at 89 River Street, right in the heart of the Bass River Historic District. Beautifully restored, the windmill still contains its original mechanical equipment, now over 224 years old. Today, the Judah Baker Windmill is lovingly maintained by volunteers and the town of Yarmouth. Seasonal tours invite visitors to step back in time and experience this local landmark up close. For more information, contact the Yarmouth Historical Commission. Cape Media Center, building community through media. Hey, I'm Kayla. I was an intern at Cape Media Center back in 2019, and that experience totally launched my career in media.
And I'm Destiny. I was right there with Kayla in 2019, learning everything from camera work to editing and loving every second of it.
The staff here at Cape Media Center were always hands-on and always willing to answer our questions, especially with our final project.
We created a series of videos called the Blue Economy Project, where we dove deeper into how the ocean plays a vital role in Cape Cod's economy.
The series was well approved, and we couldn't have done it without the Cape Media Center.
Fast forward to now, I'm working in live music production and have even worked at venues such as Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park.
And I actually came full circle. I'm back at the Cape Media Center, this time on staff.
Cape Media Center gave us the tools, the confidence, and the real-world experience to chase our creative goals.
It's more than just a media center, it's a launch pad for your future.
Start your story at Cape Media Center in Dennisport.
Cape Media Center,
your voice,
your vision, your community.
I'm Janet Milkman, and I'm the Executive Director of the Barnstable Land Trust. Barnstable Land Trust is a private, nonprofit, public mission organization working in the town of Barnstable. We are a land conservation organization, so our mission is to protect special places in the town of Barnstable for current and future generations, and we do that by acquiring land and conserving it in perpetuity. So all the land that we buy is protected forever, and we then commit to taking care of it forever. So over the last 41 years, we were founded in 1983 by local volunteers. We have protected about 1,250 acres of land and helped the town protect another 11,000 acres. Some of the most favorite places that we have protected are Eagle Pond Sanctuary in Katuitt, one of the most visited conservation lands on the Cape, and the Pogrelk Sanctuary behind our office, and this place here, Fuller Farm. I got involved with Barnstable Land Trust about 8.5 years ago, and this is my favorite job I've ever had because I get up in the morning and I come to work and I know that the lands that I'm working on protecting are going to be around forever. They'll be around for my kids, for my grandkids, for their grandkids, and there's just not many things that you can do in life that are forever and are so good for in so many ways. We have about 1,000 members right now, and people care so much on Cape Cod about land and open space because I think they understand, beyond appreciating being able to be outside and walking on trails, they understand how important land conservation is to protecting the beauty and the health of our environment and also to our economy. We are a tourist-based economy. We have this blue economy as well, so lots of fishermen and aquaculture, and all of those things depend on clean water and clean bays and estuaries. Land conservation can be the most cost-effective and efficient way to keep those places clean. It's really important that we maintain our biodiversity. You can really only do that by keeping land open and wild. Anytime we can protect a piece of land that has ecological or conservation value, we love to do it. We do over 150 programs annually. Many of those are with partners. We work with about 50 partner organizations. So we have hikes, we have bird walks, we work with arts organizations, we work in the schools at every level, so from kindergarten to the community college. We'll partner with anyone who wants to work with us, helping sharing the beauty of the outdoors and helping people learn about it. We have lots and lots of opportunities for volunteering. They come in a few major categories. Our biggest group of volunteers are our land stewards. So we have to take care of 1,250 acres of land. That's a lot of work. And we have about 40 land stewards who help us every single week on projects, maintaining trails, removing invasives. So that's a big area of volunteer work. Then we have all of these programs, educational and walks and talks, and we need program hosts. We need people to help us on every one of those programs. And then we need help in the office too, and on our board. So we have lots of committees. There's many, many ways, depending on your skills and interests, many, many ways to help out. To learn about volunteers and volunteering opportunities, there is a place on our website, which is blt.org. You can fill out a form, and then we'll come and talk to you and find out exactly what you want to do. We are also on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Barnstable Land Trust is our handle, so we're easy to find, and we post all the time. You can learn a lot about us by following us on social media.
With over 500 nonprofits on the Cape, it can be difficult to make your organization's message heard. That's where video comes in. It can engage your intended audience and allow for better retention, improved clarity, and understanding. Cape Media Center is willing to help your organization create a persuasive message through the power of video. For a small fee, we'll work with you to create a compelling public service announcement and even produce a full-length television segment showcasing your nonprofit in depth. Once completed, these videos will run on Comcast Channel 26, Roku TV, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Plus, your organization can use these videos in your own newsletter, website, and social media platforms at no additional cost. So let's work together to strengthen your outreach and better serve our community. Cape Media stopped by the Atwood Museum in Chatham recently to speak with Executive Director Kevin Wright to find out a bit more about its history, its wondrous exhibits, and the Dawsons and volunteers who make it happen.
So the Atwood Museum, a museum and historical society that talks a lot about the history of Chatham, but our museum itself expands more than just Chatham, or we try to when opportunities arise. We just celebrated in 2023, we just celebrated our 100th anniversary of the Historical Society. The original house, the Atwood house, was built in 1752 to 1756 by Joseph Atwood, a sea captain. He was born in Eastham, and then he bought 30 acres of land in this property here. The house was built here, and that became sort of the signature exhibit that we have at the museum. And so we want people to know we have about 12 or 13 other exhibits on the property. We have obviously the murals of Alice Stolna, a local artist who painted the local people in the community back in the 1930s and 40s. They're just one of our big collections that we really appreciate. In addition to that, our new exhibit this year is Coming to These Shores, which talks about the history of immigration on Cape Cod. That was a project that was really a lot of research, intense work, but it's well worth it. One of the other exhibits we have that's very popular is the Rescue of the Pendleton. That talks about the two oil tankers that sort of broke in half back in February 1952. We have a nice exhibit in that. We have a model of the front end of the 36-500, the Coast Guard boat that rescued the men, and they rescued 32 people off of that boat. And we're blessed to have a lot of wonderful docents and volunteers who just share their knowledge and expertise when people come in. Every day we have someone show up and say, oh my God, I've lived here for so many years, I've walked by the museum and I've never been in it.
The Atwood Museum is open to the public and is available to visitors from mid-June to mid-October. Find them at 347 Stage Harbor Road in Chatham. For more information, visit chathamhistoricalsociety.org. Workape Media Center, building community through media. Cape Media Center was there when the town of Harwich board came together to celebrate a very special milestone, the 100th birthday of their beloved library. Locals gathered on the library lawn where the atmosphere buzzed with community spirit and pride. The air was filled with the soothing sounds of Joe Marino, the live music creating the perfect backdrop for a day of celebration. Family, friends, and longtime residents reminisced about decades of stories, learning, and laughter shared within the library's walls.
I'm Bob Jones, and I wanted to come out for this 100th anniversary. Growing up, I had a lot of activities in this building, and I have a lot of memories. I also remember the Harwich Historical Society. They were formed in 1953, and their first exhibit, I believe, was upstairs about here. And I remember because my mother was active in the Historical Society, and so she used to bring us along as kids as she worked on the exhibits.
It's so important for us to know the history, the books and the media is so important, but also bringing people together. But we had the Chase Library in West Harwich and this way in Harwich, but so that everybody had access to information that's so important for our democracy, for our future entertainment and joy, and so important. And glad to be a part of it. I've been the president for 3 years, and it's a joy to work with all the board, all the volunteers.
Visitors to the library are always welcome. If you'd like to stop by, the library is located on 49 Bank Street in Harwich Port. It was a day to remember, honoring the past, celebrating the present, and looking forward to the next 100 years
of the Harwichport Library. We're Cape Media Center, building community through media.
Hello, my name is Joan Friedman, and I'm here representing the Academy for Lifelong Learning in Barnstable, Massachusetts. The Academy for Lifelong Learning has been on Cape Cod since 1987, and our mission is to provide education and socialization to the Cape Cod community that's 50 years old and older. I am here tonight to talk about Cape Media Center and our association with Cape Media Center. I had had a slight relationship with Cape Media in the past, and I just saw that the partnership between the Academy for Lifelong Learning and the Media Center was just a natural. So we came and we talked with the management then, and they put us in contact with Jamie, who is the head of training here. And Jamie trained us on broadcasting techniques, editing, podcasting, how to do field shoots. And through our ability to do these things ourselves, to do broadcasting ourselves, bringing in new people, new classes, to talk to the public about what we were providing. Also, that we were able to start doing our own podcasting. And everybody's very interested in podcasting, and we were able to put out a number of podcasts that really shined a light on our incredible instructors. That through our partnership with Cape Media, over the course of several years, we were able to build our numbers back up to a sustainable number. We made it. We made it through COVID, where so many other not-for-profits didn't. And a large part of that had to do with Cape Media, that we were able to attract a new audience. Things here at the Media Center also keep changing. There are new courses for us to take here. They will allow you to put forth your message. We have been very happy with our partnership and relationship with Cape Media. We are in this, and we are in this together for the sake of the Academy for Lifelong Learning and the members of Cape Cod who are over 50 years old, who want to continue to learn and want to continue to be social, and want to be able to do that in a very safe environment. So that we have been very, very pleased, and I would encourage anybody, who's interested in broadcasting at all, to give them a call. This is the best bang for your buck. And that we were very, very happy that we discovered them and that they continue to partner with us in so many ways. So I'm very happy to be here today. I'm very happy to be able to speak for them because I honestly feel that I've grown to be friends with some of them through our partnership. This has been something that's added a great deal to the Academy for Lifelong Learning, and I feel very confident that if you contact them, that they'll be able to help you too.
I am Andrew Gottlieb, the Executive Director of the Association to Preserve Cape Cod. APCC is the Cape's largest and longest existing environmental advocacy and education organization. We work on issues of concern across the region of Cape Cod. We've been around since 1968. So the mission of APCC is to help preserve and protect the environmental well-being of Cape Cod, both for current and future generations. Our programs and our scope and breadth runs from Bourne to Provincetown. Our focus changes periodically depending on what's going on. In today's world, our primary focus is on protection and enhancement of water quality. In particular, our focus has been around reducing nutrient enrichment of our waters, primarily through controlling three primary sources. Septic effluent, primary means of wastewater disposal on the Cape is through backyard septic systems. Those have degraded our marine environment and our freshwater environment. And so fixing that problem and helping towns get the resources necessary to address that problem has been a primary focus of ours. We're working a lot these days on encouraging and creating financial tools necessary to enable towns, land trusts, and local entities to preserve the remaining portion of the land of Cape Cod that is neither developed nor protected. 60,000 acres of prime habitat that will go a long way towards determining what our environmental future is. Doing a lot of work on that. We are very heavily invested in projects that restore the functioning of wetland resources, both coastal salt marshes, freshwater wetlands, and doing a lot on reconverting bogs that are no longer producing cranberries back to natural wetland systems. And then lastly, I would say our other area of discipline is in promoting good land use practices that homeowners can implement so that they can have their yards look and feel the way they want them to feel, but do it in a way that works with as opposed to against nature. We have active monitoring of a number of saltwater marsh areas where we're either planning to do restoration work or have done restoration work, doing the research necessary to understand what current conditions are so that we have a baseline to evaluate how well the system responded to the intervention. And then for projects where we've had interventions, we're monitoring to see how quickly those resources recover. We have a 9-month-a-year freshwater monitoring program where we're looking at 50 ponds in collaboration with Barnstable County, understand water quality in our ponds so we can do some broad characterizations of what's going on there. We run a very robust cyanobacteria monitoring program in our freshwater ponds, 150-odd ponds across the Cape, where we look for presence or absence of cyanobacteria, where we find presence in sufficient density that it creates the possibility of toxic releases from the cyanobacteria. We have an online mapping tool that we notify the public about the presence of those things and advise them on restricting or limiting their access and utilization of those water bodies. We have a few hundred volunteers that work with us on a variety of programs and efforts, everything from helping us with office work to being out in the field. The vast majority of the cyanobacteria samples that we collect are collected through engagement with volunteers. So we have an extensive training program with volunteers. They allow us to have a much broader scope program. Our baseline water quality work that we're doing with the county on the 50 ponds, every one of our samples is taken with a volunteer. Volunteers are at the core of the annual herring counting that we do as an organization in the spring. It tends to focus on the spring and the spring migration. We have dozens of people that are out in the field counting. So volunteers are a really important part of extending the work that we can do. So for anybody who's interested in learning anything about any of our programs, cyanobacteria, sign up for alerts, volunteer, just become more environmentally aware, visit our website at apcc.org. While we're still relatively small, we have been growing. I think our growth is in response to a desire from the people who live, work, and recreate on Cape Cod to preserve the nature of the environment that drew them here in the first place. And, the threats to our environment are significant and real. The destiny of this is not preordained, and how it comes out has a lot to do with what we do to be active, to take common sense steps to preserve the environment, and that's what we're all about.
Cape Media Center, building community through media.